can't read. Books.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to My Wife's Smutty Books, a podcast where my wife tells me about her hot books and I give my hot takes. As always, I'm joined by the lovely Emily Bohatch.
And I'm here with my husband, Lucas. And this is not a hot book.
No, it is not. No, it is not. And this is part 2.
Part 2, we're talking about Alchemised. So, again, spoiler alert, if you haven't read Alchemised, I don't know what you're doing on part 2, but definitely go back, read Alchemised, come back, listen to part 1, and then listen to part 2.
What does it mean to be alchemized?
To be alchemized?
Yeah, it's like a Jeep Wrangler. What's a Jeep? Does it wrangle? You just watch it wrangle? Jumping over rocks and shit, making trouble in the mud.
I think you can argue that, like, Cain, to some extent, has been alchemized. And, you know, this kind of helps us pick up to where we just left off, when we're talking about, like, the alchemical array in his back. Like,
oh, wait, we should do his spoilers.
I just did my spoilers.
Did you?
Yeah.
We just did the first episode.
So we're both
like
tired.
15
We're
minutes
powering
ago.
through.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you said it an hour ago or 30 seconds ago.
I got a glass of water and a handful of chocolate chips, and I'm ready.
Wait,
to
you
go.
got chocolate chips too?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yes, go team.
Right. I know, that's the thing about being an ingredient household. And the thing about the chocolate chips is you got to eat them so fast that they don't melt in your hand, because then they are sticky and you're touching shit, and then you got to clean stuff up.
It's
you just got to
M&M
pound
theory.
them.
You just pound them.
Yeah, absolutely. See, that's one thing I like about obviously we're in July now. We're really far from Christmas. Oh, I was supposed to give.
It's okay.
Sorry, the dog's in here, so you might hear him just
Tipping and tapping,
causing all kinds of chaos in here. But yeah, especially when you have all those extra Hershey Kisses around the house, you're like, well, they're gonna go bad. They don't go bad.
I
know, but you gotta tell yourself
that's
that.
what you tell yourself.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so without further ado, what kind of evil shit is Cain Farron up to?
Well, Helena has just finished healing him, or figuring out how to heal him. Like, she put the, like, weird substance from the Sunstone into his body. So now we're kind of going back to, like, the rebellion side of things. Now, Helena's mission to deal with Cain has been kept pretty secret within the rebellion. But people have been noticing, people who don't know about this mission, that she has been really distracted lately. And really absent. No one notices this more keenly than the leader of the rebellion himself, Luke, formerly Helena's best friend. One day, right before Helena is about to leave to go do a final healing session on Cain, Luke comes and finds her in his lab. Or in her lab, I'm sorry. He confronts her about her proposal earlier that she made, and we didn't really discuss this. She proposed, like, using necrothralls on the side of the resistance, and using people who, like, volunteer to be brought back to fight back. Because, you know, how can you fight someone who every time one of your people dies, they come back to fight against you, right?
Right. It's one of those examples of, like, and I'm sorry, I'm scrolling for something because I made a reference last episode to something, and I want to make sure I have my facts accurate because there's something I wanted to bring up. But it does, like, the one thing that, like, the Holdfast, like, they lose is because they just refuse to adapt.
Yes, they, like, think that they're on this, like, moral high ground, that they have this, like, mandate from God to get the band back together. But, like, as we find out, like, that's just not the case. It's all made up. So Luke says that he, as the religious and political leader, can never stoop so low as to use necrothralls on their side, but that he forgives her for her moment of weakness. He says that he's missed Helena a lot, and he has all night to spend catching up with her and doing whatever she wants. But Luke doesn't know about the deal with Cain, and Helena can't tell him. So she has to come up with some kind of excuse of why they can't hang out with him. He's really defeated when he leaves her laboratory, and on his way out, his protector, Lila, says, you know, I'm sorry. So Helena is, like, pushing away all of her friends throughout all of this to spend more time with Cain. Instead, Helena runs all the way to her meeting spot with Cain to do the final healing. She manages to close all of his wounds completely, and Cain feels better than he has in months.
It's like when you use the video game consumable. You know, you spent all the time trying to earn it, you finally use it.
Yeah.
When your shitty boyfriend is dying, that's when you use the gold tier consumable.
And you know how I am. Like, leave your shitty boyfriend alone. Like, Zayden Ryerson, let him die. Cain Farron, let him die. Like, leave your shitty boyfriend out of it. So Kane asks Helena to stay and have a drink with him to celebrate. As they talk, Helena can't help but noticing the differences between Luke and Kane. Where Luke thinks that all of Helena's life choices are easy, Kane recognizes that Helena carries the weight of the world on her shoulders. And I think like that's one thing that I can appreciate about Kane is like he's the only person who sees the work that Kane is doing or that Helena is doing for the Resistance, and he sees like just how unsupported she is and like how much taken for granted she is. So like I mean he doesn't have many redeeming qualities, but this is like certainly one of them. As they talk, Helena can't help but notice that Kane hasn't put his shirt back on. And normally I would go,
of course he did.
Yeah, normally I would go like, ooh, but you know what? Fuck this guy.
Nah, dude. I do, again, I do think that, like, that's how it's meant to be, and it does come through that you're not supposed to be like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like, it's not like that, like, exciting, like, release moment when you're, like, finally reading the characters hook up. It's like, oh, the characters are hooking up. And this is, like, one of the things I didn't like about this book is, like, I love that moment in a fantasy series where it's like, yes, fucking finally! Like, they're doing it, you know? Like, Spark of the Everflame, like, having to wait, like, 3 books. And it's like, yes! Yes! They're doing it! Yes! But, like, this one, it was like, oh.
I do think this is one of the more artsy books that we've read because it really is, again, it is like a very, like it's a lot, at very many times, a very unpleasant read.
Yeah, more literature, less cliterature.
Oh, this is not cliterature. No, this doesn't count as cliterature at all. No, it's just too fucked up. Oh. Yeah, it's all about like trauma and
yeah,
all that stuff. So like it's
war.
Yeah, you can't, and it does a good job of not
glorifying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It glorifies it, not glorifies it.
Hey.
I should write a book.
I'd review it. I'd read it.
Well, you're my husband. Like, you'd be obligated to read it.
We could do it on the podcast, too.
Just as Kane and Helena were getting handsy with each other, she realizes that he probably doesn't even like her like that. He's just very, very drunk and not in pain for the first time in months. He's probably looking for some kind of release, like in her mind. Kane catches that she's not into it anymore, and to his credit, he gets off of her. But Helena can't go home. The checkpoint to get into the city is closed for the night. Kane asks Helena why she's crying, and she tells him it's because he's kissing her, and he doesn't even like her. He asks why she's kissing him, and she says, "You made me feel like the parts of me that aren't useful still deserve to exist. Like, I'm not just all the things that I can do." And this, like, makes me so sad for Helena, is because, like, everyone who she knows just wants her for her abilities and not for who she is as a person. Except for Luke Holdfast, but, like, Luke Holdfast doesn't have time for her.
Yeah, Luke doesn't have time for her. I sometimes feel like Luke is just giving her, like, the pity attention. At this point. I think maybe back in the day they were friends. But...
That's the narrative from the guild folks, you know?
Yeah, and I do think Luke is a kind of a good example of, like, he is Luke Skywalker. You know, he's the bright, optimistic, religious, not religious. Sorry. Like,
I mean, in a way, like, Jedi are religious. Like a religious.
He is religious. Yeah. I'm sorry. Again, you have to bear with us, but he is very much like the kind of like the bright leader, like the rebel leader you want, but he doesn't
understand the logistics of it.
And he also isn't willing to do what it takes. Like his whole religion won't allow him.
Yeah.
He won't. I mean, again, like they're fighting against, like, even because Helena makes the pitch of like, hey, we should use some necromancy. We need to use this. We're going to lose. And like they all know they're going to lose without it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're so blinded by a faith that, especially the higher ups, know the faith is bullshit.
Yes.
And they're still bound to it anyway. So if you're like Ilva or Crowther, like how do you continue to bet all the lives of the people around you on a miracle, which is what Luke genuinely believes to be the case, when you know that's not going to happen?
But they're manufacturing the miracles, right? And like they reveal this eventually, is that they're using the information from Kane Farron to manufacture miracles. Like when they capture the whole island, they don't say it's like, oh, it's because we've got this intel from a spy. They say like, oh, it must be Sol like giving us his favor for refusing Helena's request to have necrothralls.
Right, but
they're manufacturing these religious moments.
But they just because they're manufacturing these religious moments for a propaganda value doesn't mean they can manufacture success. at that scale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because again, Luke doesn't believe that the gods or soul is going to give him a propaganda win. He believes it's going to come down from the sky and just vaporize the enemies.
Yeah. Like fate. He's fated to win.
Right, and like that's not going to happen.
No.
So again, and like Kane Farron is only going like any spy is only going to get you so far.
Yeah.
No matter how good they are, he's again you can only. I'm honest. Sorry, I was about to go on another tangent.
No, go for it.
I don't know how the High Necromancer didn't figure it out. I think
it was Kane Farron?
Yeah, I don't know how you didn't figure it out.
I mean, give Kane some credit. He's sneaky. And I think he's probably positioning other people in the Undying to, like, take the fall for him so that he's, like, two birds, one stoning it, you know? This never spelled out, but that would be my guess. So the next month, the guild sets fires around the city, causing a massive influx of patients at the hospital for Helena to heal. She spends so much time working that she loses track of the days. Finally, she gets some time away to meet with Kane, and he's been avoiding her for a few weeks. But when she arrives at the meeting spot, she realizes that the Undying and their Necrothralls have taken over the area. She's quickly cornered and tries to fight her way out, but gets stabbed in the leg, only after she uses the dregs of her power to blast away as many thralls as she can.
Blast them.
She crawls away to a hiding spot where Kane finds her. He accused her of trying to trick him into sympathy by faking an injury that she herself can heal. But when he realizes that she's not faking it, he picks her up and he helps her. Kane asks Helena to explain to him how to heal her. Though she's very foggy, she explains to him the best that she can, and he does an okay job. A week later, Helena returns to meet with Kane, and Kane tells her that he thinks it's time that he get back to training her. He asks her about her Vivimancer powers, and she says that she was told that her powers work by stealing vitality from other souls, and that's why her mother died when she was young. Kane seizes her by the hand, and in that moment tries to steal her vitality, but it doesn't work. He explains to her what he did and tells her to try to steal his vitality. She doesn't deserve to have this lie, like, hanging over her about her powers her entire life. And this is kind of like a one of the moments that I like Kane, because he's like, you have been lied to and told this religious bullshit all your life, and, like, let me break you out of this, like, religious psychosis that, like, the cause that you're in has.
Yeah.
But he doesn't break Helena out of it entirely, because, like, even though she learns the truth about the Eternal Flame, she always puts the Eternal Flame first.
I think she's putting the Eternal Flame first because she's putting her friends first. She's putting Luke first. Yeah. She's putting, I mean, Luke, I think it's safe to say her first love. Even if it's not romantic.
Like a platonic love. Yeah.
But yeah, I will, like, that's the thing about Farron is like not everything he does is pure evil. He does some things that are evil, but not everything he does is evil.
No. Though Vivimancers cannot steal vitality from living people, they can claim it from Necrothralls. Kane calls in a thrall and has Helena steal the vitality from it, and he tells her to do that instead of vaporizing thralls next time she has to fight him. That's pretty fucking cool. The fact that she can just, like, touch them and then just, like, whoop, and they drop to the ground. That's pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, well, I mean, think of how useful that would be. You know, if you're fighting the other guys, you could, like... Exactly,
and it comes back to the thing that, like, the Holdfast could be doing so much better if they were not afraid of Vivimancers. You know, like, so many of the things that are wrong with their campaign is that they are afraid of this, like, one type of alchemy.
And I mean, they're religious zealots.
Yeah.
And that makes them both really mean to Helena, and it's also the reason they lose the war.
Yeah, they say at one point it's the reason the war started, right? Is because, like, there was this, like, one area of alchemy that no one explored, and then it looked like a miracle to, like, the people in the guild, you know? And so they went towards a Vivimancer who had bad intentions instead of, like, someone who had good intentions.
They also kept a lot of the power to themselves. They functioned like a lot of, like, ruling classes or governments do, where they became complacent, they hoarded the power, they handed it down with the family, they lied to everyone, they did a lot of myth building. Like, there was, like, the old, it's like one of those things, like, the old regime did need to fall, but, like, the people who took it over were worse.
Agreed. So Kane wants to do one other thing for her. He asks what her special transmutation signature is so that he can get her a custom weapon. And these custom weapons are
love a custom fantasy weapon.
Know, highly, highly sought after, and she's very flattered that he would offer to do this for her. And the way that they describe fighting is so cool. Like how like in mid swing they can like transmute their knife to like be longer or be shorter, have a curve, like be weightier. It's so cool.
Yeah, like just the way that like there's a part of me that if they ever did this, I think they'd have to like a visual like a version of this, like a show. I think they'd have to do an anime because I think that would just be really expensive to do with like live action to have all kinds of wacky. Yeah, and like sometimes with anime or animation rather.
Yeah.
Animation, you just have a little more freedom. Like you can have like an artist see it front to back. You don't have to run it through like 50 computers. But it would be so much fun to watch them fight with like those titanium blades.
Yeah.
In real time, and especially like it would be a gritty show if it's going to be anywhere near to the book. It would be really fun to watch them fight like that because you could just give an animator, be like, here is the weapons, here's what they can do, here's how the fight ends. Have fun.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
You could just really let it just be like fucking awesome.
Yeah. I would watch it.
Oh,
and I don't watch a lot of anime. I would watch that. As the fall drags on, the Resistance establishes a new hospital near the ports. This divides the Resistance attention between two different places. One afternoon, there's a sudden battle, and Lila, the leader's principal protector, like we were saying earlier, she's the principal paladin, and Helena's roommate, and really good friend, she's captured. And a team is sent in after her, and she's brought back to the hospital barely alive. Helena pours everything she has into healing Lila and barely manages to save her. This seems to give the Resistance a little bit more trust in Helena. Certain members of the Resistance. The leader's great aunt, who is a member of the royal family who didn't have any powers, is still incredibly, incredibly suspicious of Helena. One day when Helena is reporting back on her latest interaction with Cain Farron, the aunt lets it slip that Helena should have let Cain die instead of healing him from the alchemical array. The aunt asks Helena how she managed to heal Cain. She seems to know that it has something to do with the amulet that they had given Helena previously. Remember that amulet cracked open and the liquid inside is what healed Cain. Helena finally confesses to her how she healed Cain and how the amulet was involved, and she gets very, very unnerved by the truth. The aunt decides to tell Helena the truth behind the talisman. Before the country was established, there was a Vivimancer who the locals believed was a god. He promised them immortality if they believed in him. One day, he brought them all together and distilled their souls into a substance. And then he used that substance to reanimate all of the villagers. That substance is what was kept inside of the talisman. By revealing the story, the aunt revealed that the Eternal Flame's entire religion is a lie. The first holdfast leader didn't defeat some evil necromancer with a stone given by the gods themselves. The necromancer's powers just went wonky and backfired on him, killing all of his forces and leaving the first holdfast and his friends alive.
Oops.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant oops about the recording.
Someone call OSHA. We need Fantasy OSHA.
Yeah,
he just wiped out your whole army.
Yeah,
Emily thought
I
fucked the podcast up. No, I'm jiggling the mouse every once in a while. No, I didn't fuck the podcast up. But what do you say after that? What do you say after you just wipe out all your friends? Like, hey guys, I know I just kind of like, it's like the Demon Core. Do you know about the Demon Core?
No.
So the Demon Core is a real thing. It was like, in like the 40s or something, there was a bunch of scientists trying to explain how radiation worked. And it was like a sphere. With like the inside, there's like a sphere inside a sphere.
Was this like made under some football stadium or something like that?
No, I think you're thinking of the Chicago Pile.
I am thinking of the Chicago Pile.
Which definitely is a sandwich. It sounds like a great
that
sandwich.
The Bears did in the 80s.
Yeah, just like 1985 Bears. They used to just like jump on each other's backs and stuff. Happy Pride. No, those guys will fucking kill me. I better watch my mouth. But no, it was like he had like a screwdriver holding this thing open, and like basically it's the way that it was nuclear material, and basically if the thing shut, then the nuclear reaction would continue, but if it was open, then the nuclear reaction wouldn't. He had the whole thing held open with a screwdriver. The screwdriver slipped and it shut, and he died of radiation poisoning. It took him like it was like nasty,
gnarly,
horrible death. Like
oof.
They like
he was looking like Morrow.
Yeah, every time I hear about radiation poisoning, I think of the show Chernobyl.
Yeah,
and that's just
really good.
That show was so good, but damn, that was rough. Yeah, it reminds me of that. It's like once you do that, you're like, oh, I've just fucked over everyone in this room. What do I do?
Oof. So the church created this lie so that no one would repeat the necromancer's experiments. So it's basically all a lie. Helena's entire life is a lie. And Helena asks the aunt, the question that's on all of our minds is like, why would this aunt give this powerful amulet to Helena? And she says that she thought that it would save Helena from burning out, and that Helena's like job was to keep Luke alive one day. So if she was burnt out, she couldn't do that. Helena cuts back at her and says that next time she should be more direct with Helena. And in return, the aunt says like, oh, okay, you want me to be more direct? Kill Cain. Like, I'll just tell you exactly what I want. Helena refuses at first. She says Cain has done nothing but help the resistance, but the aunt is out for revenge for Cain killing her brother Apollo. She says that unless Helena can prove that Cain is unfalteringly loyal in the next month, he's dead. I think she literally says that he has to like get on his knees and crawl or something like that. This ultimatum weighs heavily on Helena. It's all she can think about during the holiday season. She even blocks out this sermon that their religious celebration at the end of the year says that they're winning the war because the God's soul decreed it, you know. And ironically, you know, this happens just as she learns that the whole religion is a lie. So
part of it, you know, I think one of the recurring issues they have is they just don't trust her.
Yeah,
they don't trust Helena,
and I don't get why.
Well, I get why, because their religion says they can't trust Vivimancers.
True. Yeah, but like Ilva and Crowther know that the religion is made up. So it's like, why can't they trust Helena if they know that their own religion is bullshit, you know?
I think it's because they have been such dicks to Viv. It's also like just a prejudice, you know, it's just been ingrained in them for a long time that you can't trust necromancers, you can't trust Vivimancers, animancers, whatever. Like,
even though their war would have been lost long ago without Helena.
Yeah. And also, now that I think about it, it doesn't, like, if you're in charge of an army, does it really make sense to give up your only healer to the other side?
Yeah.
Like, you know, to give them up to Farron, who could just easily kill her.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Like, and I know they brought on replacements, but they suck.
They're not as good.
No.
Yeah. So the council's pretty much spun Helena's hard work off into a miracle and now wants to bury the evidence by killing Cain. They just want, like I said, they're manufacturing this miracle, and the loose end, keeping it from being a miracle, is Cain Farron. And
that also, like, speaks to how the resistance is also bad, because, like, that's a bad decision on Nilva's part to kill Farron, because he is useful.
Yeah.
And he's the reason they're doing well, and she, because of her own desire for vengeance, says you need to kill him. Not because of vengeance and propaganda and bullshit, not because that's the wise decision, not because that's in the interest of the people she cares about, but because she has a personal grudge.
Yeah, and
like, how many people are going to die for that decision? Yeah,
and Crowther recognizes this, but he's an outsider too. Like, he is not from Palladia, he's not a holdfast, so that's like he knows that Ilva's being emotional, but he can't really do anything about it. So during that time, Cain and Helena keep meeting up. Cain decides that she needs to learn some hand-to-hand combat so that she can survive if she's ever captured by one of the Undying. During one session, Helena finally gets the upper hand on him, and then, of course, he puts his hands all over her.
What do they start doing? Like Guga Platas, Barada Platas, Uma Platas?
They finally do the deed.
Oh, so they fuck.
Yeah, they fuck.
Oh, it's almost as gay.
I don't know how that makes sense.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. I think this happens when you've been recording for a while. You just say shit. If we laugh, other people will laugh.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's how it works. When they're done, Cain's tone totally changes. He gets cold and withdrawn and even a little panicky. Finally, he says, well, you seem pleased to have finally whored yourself. And Helena replies, that was my job. You had to have known that it was my mission. And as much as I don't like Cain, I kind of hate this for him. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't have a frank conversation and they keep skating around each other. Like, they can't just seem to accept that, like, yes, there's some ulterior motive in the beginning in their relationship, but it seems like they actually like each other at this point.
Well, that's like part of what I was talking about inarticulately at the end of the last episode, is that there's so many like repetitive scenes. Like, there's so many things that happen over and over and over and over and over again. And one of them is the fact that every time they have some sort of moment of any sort of emotional, or in this case, physical intimacy, they have to respond by violently shutting the door.
Yeah.
And they both do it. And, like, obviously, like, Helena does it by being, like, snippy and grumpy. Like, she does it by being, like, a Nesta Archeron. And he does it by being, like, a Lavrenti Beria. Like, just a fucking sick, evil psychopath bastard, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if that I would compare her to Nesta. I don't think she gets that bitchy.
I don't think Nesta's that bad. I
Maybe like Nesta in book 3, not like Nesta in book 4 at the beginning of book 5.
we could. I don't think Nesta's as bad as everyone says she is. I mean, she's a grouch for sure, but like,
Dude, she's nasty to Cassian. Then she's nasty to Cassian.
yeah, that's required reading. If you haven't read it, then none of this shit's gonna make any sense.
I also can't understand how Helena fell for this asshole. Like, he's continuously mean to her, and yet she can't seem to, like, get him out of her head. Like, he does everything he can to push her away, and she just keeps coming back for more. Like, girl.
No, I get it. I get it.
Explain it to me.
Explain it to you?
Yeah.
Because even though he is a massive asshole, he is the only one in this entire story, throughout this entire plotline, who cares about her, and even before he cares about her, actually makes time for her. And he does stuff, even when he's really mean, he protects her. Like, the whole resistance is willing to let her walk from that long walk from the base all the way out to, like, the tenements without a weapon, when they know there's literal monsters out there they don't know how to fight. There's, you got to put in a permission slip for your weapons. It's like all kinds of bureaucracy and bullshit. Like, he is a genuinely bad person. He is an irredeemable character, but he cares about her, and that's more than you can say about anyone else except for Luke. But Luke kind of not, because Luke just doesn't have time.
Very present. Yeah.
No, he can't.
Yeah.
Not that he doesn't have the moral fiber, doesn't care because for the sake of it, he just can't be there. So
yeah, I see what you're saying.
He's the only one,
So Helena gets really mad at Cain. She wants to know what the point of all of this was. Why he kicked off the entire war by killing Apollo. And he reveals to her that he had to do it. The High Necromancer had captured his mother after his father revealed the High Necromancer's plans to the Eternal Flame. He had been torturing her for months, and the only way that he would let her go is if Cain killed Apollo and brought his heart back. Cain decided to cooperate with the rebellion because he wanted to avenge his mother. Cain tells her all of this and then pretty much collapses sobbing. He says he can't get close to someone again, and he can't take something bad happening to them. Helena apologizes to him and holds him close, but secretly she thinks, I can use this. I tend to like Helena, but at this point in the book, she's getting, like, a little cutthroat. Like, I understand she wants to manipulate him to keep him alive, but it really comes off as, like, I'm going to use him,
See, I think she's adapting. I can sympathize with this.
Yeah.
Not that, like, this is how, like, our relationship is, but, like, I can sympathize with, I mean, like, she's adapting. She has to be like this. And she remarks on it all the time about how she doesn't like who she's become because of the war, and I think that this is not something she is proud of doing, but it is something she does realize she has to do. That is her mission still.
Like, there's so many times in fantasy books where, like, the main character maintains their, like, morals and who they are throughout it, and, like, that's kind of, like, a hallmark of their character. And it's, like, very interesting in this one that, like, that no one keeps their morals. No one keeps their morals in this. Except for Luke, and then see where that leaves him,
Right. That is, like, kind of the intractable... Because you even get into that later with the different weapons they have, with, like, all the, like, those could be metaphors for dirty bombs or dirty tactics. They blow up towns. Like, it's stuff with, like, a lot of collateral damage. It's a lot of really nasty weapons, and, like, the way that you have to adapt. Like, the stuff you have to do to survive is also stuff that is not consistent with who you are.
Yeah.
And you have to make that decision. Like, are you going to die like Luke when you just get taken over by an Elden Ring boss, or are you going to adapt and become something you don't like? It's almost like either way, you're like, who you are now won't survive.
Yeah. So somehow Cain sorts out that his usefulness to the resistance is at an end. Helena tells him the deal that she was offered. He comes to heal in a month, or he has to die. At first, he's pretty much resigned to dying, but then he asks Helena what her plan is after he is dead. And she doesn't really have one. She's so tired of fighting this fight. And something changes inside of Cain, and he agrees to stay alive and asks Helena to find out what kind of show he needs to make in order to win over the rebellion and stay alive.
He does help her expose the bad working conditions she has, so he could definitely help unionize all the nurses.
I also think
some time off.
I also think he's sensing that she's about at the end of her rope, and he's like, okay, I have to do something to keep her alive.
Right. Even all these people are sensing that. Even people who don't care about her are like, yeah, she's falling apart right now. Just any day at this point.
So Helena sets up a meeting with the rebel leadership, and Cain makes a new deal. Not long after, the leader of the Eternal Flame, Luke, gets captured in a raid the rebellion had no notice of. The rebellion leadership orders Helena to tell Cain to do anything in his power to get Luke back, even if it means burning himself. Cain is unbelievably cold towards her after making this deal. He explains to her that falling in love with her was slapping new manacles on. He wasn't quite used to how they chafe. And I actually kind of like this conversation that they have. I don't always love Cain when he's being a nasty asshole, but this conversation drew such a parallel between Helena's situation in part 1 and Cain's situation in part 2. They're both in these abysmal situations where they're prisoners to the other person, and they have this undeniable attraction, but their control over one another in the respective parts of the book ruin any kind of relationship that could exist.
That's a good way to put it. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. So Luke's protectors, the Paladins, have no interest in sitting idle. They come up with their own plan, not endorsed by the council, to save Luke, and they enlist Helena's help to go do it. They make their way into the makeshift prison, and they find Luke there being experimented on. They save him, but as they make their way out, they realize that it was a trap. They're cornered by the undying aspirants and their pet chimeras. And they're in the sewers trying to fight their way out, but they are losing. One of the paladins, Luke and Helena's really good friend, dies at the hands of an undying. Before they left on their mission, he made Helena promise to bring him back as a necrothrall if he died without saving Luke. Helena follows through on her promises and brings him back as a thrall. Helena keeps fighting herself, but ultimately ends up captured by an undying guard. Or an undying general, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Blackthorn.
Blackthorn. He breaks both of her wrists when he realizes that she can use her resonance to knock him out. He holds her against the wall by her throat, and just as she's about to black out, an undying general in a dark uniform drags him away from her. They begin fighting themselves, and within minutes, the newcomer has killed him and all the undying aspirants. It's Cain.
So I will say before this is the one. I have a pretty thick stomach, but I did this. There was the line here. I maybe I shouldn't read this on the air.
No, go for it.
But it's in the book, and I pulled the quote because again I want to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. So Blackthorn, the general who sprung the trap, he's the big scary guy, and they're always talking about how these undying are so depraved and so violent and so fucked up. And I don't know if you caught this quote, this thing he says to her when he picks her up.
I think I know what you're talking about, but go for it.
When he's he sticks his fingers inside the wound and says, wetter, hotter, and tighter than anything else. Yeah. As implying that he's gonna. Yeah. It's like oh,
he's bad. He's gross.
Well, I sometimes villains are just they're just on the other side. Yeah. That is one thing about this book that is very clear is no matter how bad the rebels are, they don't do anything that gets close to
that. The Undying are always worse. The Undying are literally he went Blackthorn when he was created, went home and ate his wife and children.
And he used to be a level-headed guy, right? Yeah. He was, and then he lost his mind. It just again, they're not I think that's one thing. If you want to make a truly good villain, not everything has to be that disgusting and shocking. I'm not saying that. But sometimes if you want to have a good villain, they have to be willing to do things that other people aren't. And I'm not saying just making shocking things makes a good villain, but I do that again, no matter how bad the rebellion is, they're worse. Yeah. And it's they're worse because of the things they choose to do, the way that they'll later target civilians, the way that they'll reincarnate people, the way that they'll just be cruel and use reincarnate their enemies to torture other people. Yeah. And again, the rebels aren't good either, but the moral lines in the sand are very clear.
Yeah. So Cain quickly dispatches with all of their enemies. He reanimates some of their corpses to carry out the rescue team and Luke. And I can't stress enough how easily Cain kills all of the Undying forces here. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, which kind of drops from the point of why didn't he take a shot at Moreau?
He's so powerful, that he basically, without even thinking about it, obliterates all their forces.
Yeah, he wipes out I know he gets the jump on Blackthorn, but it's not even a fight. He just kills Blackthorn.
Yeah, he makes resonance bullets, and then for everyone he drops, he reanimates them and makes them keep fighting.
Yeah, that does. Again, I guess that is kind of like a plot hole at that point. It's like, why didn't he take a shot at Moro? Because he wipes out everyone so easily.
Yeah.
He doesn't value his own life. So why not take out Moro? If it's a suicide mission and you kill all the rest of the Undying and you die killing Moro, like he wants to die anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he would care about that.
And I think he'd be happy to get his vengeance.
So he brings Helena into a room where he sets to work healing her. He tells her how stupid she was for going into combat without combat training, and she explains that if Luke died, the rebellion was over. He tells her to tell the Eternal Flame that she's not to go on any more missions. He said that while he's working for the Eternal Flame to avenge his mother, he's not above dual revenge and will take it out on them if something happens to Helena. He tells her that she's not replaceable and that part of the deal with the Eternal Flame is that she be kept safe. And he tells Helena the way out, she collects the search party, wakes them up, and leads them to safety. When they get to the hospital, Luke, delirious with a fever, accuses her of necromancy. But anyone who knows anything else covers it up for her because she helped save their rebellion leader. But Helena feels numb on the inside. She can feel the corpse of her paladin friend and what he felt as he was being torn apart. She wanders out into the town and unconsciously seeking out Kane, and he finds her. She thinks she's delirious and she's not sure if any of it is real, but he takes her back to his home and tells her that she doesn't have to be alone. He begs her to let him in so that neither of them has to be alone anymore. So they decide to go all in on the relationship after like 600 pages, and even as their resistance begins to crumble around them. One day, the High Necromancer's forces set off a bomb with a chemical that blocks alchemy resonance. Somehow, Helena gets sent to the lower city hospital, where injuries and the chemical are the worst. She works for hours trying to heal people, and then when she hears that the necrothralls are coming in to steal the bodies and create more thralls, she has as many bodies and survivors loaded up into ambulances as she can and sends them off. Right before the last one leaves, a necrothrall drives an ambulance into hers and explodes. Shrapnel drives through Helena's heart, and she knows there's no healing.
Still better than your average driver on 271 South. That place is a fucking war zone.
Crazy.
Everyone.
Wait, is it this driver or anyone driving from Fort Lauderdale to Miami?
Oh God, no, there is no that place. That is fucking terrible. 271 is just cursed. That's where I hit black ice and got in a crash. There's always ice. There's always where the snow is the worst. Everyone has that town with a shitty road. When I was in Florida, was it 90 South? That whole area?
Yeah. I was making that drive one time, and I was going 80, and people were still flying by me. I was like, holy smokes. So even though Helena knows there's no healing her injury, she still tries to fend off the necrothralls when they come. She ends up passing out, and when she comes to, Kane has found her and is treating her injuries. He's furious that she was not at headquarters, which was part of his deal with the Eternal Flame. He thinks that they sent her down to the lower hospital to die. Helena tries to calm him down, but he's not hearing it. He tells them that if something happens to her, he will raise the entire Eternal Flame. Kane works to get Helena back on her feet and back with the Eternal Flame. When she returns, she remembers something that happened in the last battle. She had a piece of obsidian that she had charged with death energy, and when she touched a thrall, it severed their animation. Pretty much, I think she cuts it in the arm and it completely collapses, which is like game changer. So she sets to work creating as much of the death-infused obsidian as she possibly can, arming the rebel forces.
Yeah, I mean, that obsidian, it's a weird they didn't think of that, because like obsidian was used in like the most ancient of ancient cultures because it's easy to, it breaks really sharp.
Well, and they have boxes of it sitting around, so I'm like kind of wondering, it's like, why do you have all these boxes of obsidian?
Yeah,
Where are you
that's
getting
a good
all
question.
this from?
Just got a nearby volcano and they're just plucking it out of the volcanic rock.
So this gives them the confidence that they have not earned. When they hear that the High Necromancer has formed an alliance with a nearby militant kingdom, they decide to make one final push, putting every man, woman, and child into that effort. Helena, knowing that this is foolish, asks to build a bomb using alchemical stuff that stops powers and the shards of the obsidian. So it'd be a 2-for-1, basically the thing that severs like these connections and also like things that would stop people from being able to like use their powers or heal themselves. Kane tells her that there will be a diplomatic dinner in a few days where most of the Undying will be present and potentially the High Necromancer will be there. He promises to plant the bomb and then to get away so it doesn't hit him. On the day of the final assault, Helena is so worried that she makes herself sick. Her good friends start talking to her about what's been going on. This is Lila, and she reveals that the leader of the Eternal Flame... Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is not Lila. This is her friend who's the hospital orderly.
Purnell?
No, this is not Purnell. It's a different one. I think there's Purnell and then there's Parnell. And it, like...
No.
No.
This isn't a George R. R. Martin book.
No. It's not Purnell. It's someone else. I forget her name.
Purell.
Just a hand sanitizer incarnate.
And like, hey man, we only got one healer. We don't trust animancers or vivimancers, so we just got a sentient hand sanitizer stand, and we just go around and we just squirt it in people's stab wounds.
Yeah, so this head nurse reveals that the leader of the Eternal Flame, Luke, has been having all of these really strange symptoms. He's been having brain fevers and delirious episodes where he claws at his own skin and screams, "Get him out." Helena instantly recognizes what's going on. When she was working at a field hospital early in the war, before the necromancers figured out how to transplant souls from body to body, he was trying to transplant them into live bodies, and the victims of these experiments had the same symptoms Luke is having now. She realized that Luke has been possessed for months, and that's why he's been smoking the opium to like keep Luke's personality and mind down, and the High Necromancer in control of his body.
Yeah, one thing I think that's interesting about that is that he's obviously not okay when they get him out of the prison, and he has these black organs. You know, like that's one thing she thinks back is like one of the tells. And I think it's interesting because everybody knows something's wrong with him when they pick him up.
Yeah.
And most of the time, what I had chalked it up to was, oh, he's traumatized from being tortured. That's why he's acting different. That's why he's so different.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is the difference between, like, the metaphor of being possessed by a demon and having your entire personality changed by trauma is not very distinguishable, is a really good metaphor.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think of it that way.
Though, I mean, and because even like he comes in and he's like, oh, like he's like more brash, and like you wouldn't expect someone who's traumatized to act like that, you know, especially from torture. But people don't always act how you expect, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. So she rushes out of the hospital to go track down Luke, a.k.a. the High Necromancer. When she finally finds him in the field, though, they get news that headquarters has been taken over by the Necromancer's forces. Their final push has not been successful. She lures Luke and the Paladin Primary away from the rest of them and then confronts him about what she knows. He reveals that his name is Cetus and that he's been alive for hundreds of years. Indeed, he's the necromancer that their entire religion was founded on. It turns out that he was actually the twin brother to the
Cletus.
first...
Cetus and his cousin Cletus. him and the low reeve. Him and the low reeve like going fishing. He's got a little bit harder of an accent. Now, the low reeve's got a soft southern accent. Rest in peace to Lindsey Graham. And, well, you got Cletus. I got to lean back from the mic when I do Cletus, or I'm going to break the mic. Cletus knows how to fish.
So... he reveals...
We're not going to do Roland Rural Areas.
He reveals that his twin brother was Paulo Holdfast, the first, like, Holdfast leader. So, like, the whole religion is based on the High Necromancer. Like, this is just a fight that's been happening since the dawn of time.
Right, because the way I understood it was it's just, like, two brothers that are, like, demigods just fighting it out and manipulating people into wars.
Yeah.
Is that what you're reading of it too?
Yeah. So, like, basically, like, and she says that this is, like, a petty fight between brothers. Like, the High Necromancer's reasoning for doing all of this is, like, that he's mad that his brother, Orion, erased his legacy and discredited his work. Like, he wanted to come back and erase everything that Orion has built. The other thing that's really crazy, like, about the reveal in this time is that the High Necromancer has been inside of their headquarters running the resistance this whole time. If she kills Luke, the High Necromancer won't die. He'll just revert back to his own body. But, like...
But what do you mean he's been in there the whole time?
Not the whole time. Since they've rescued Luke. So for, like, months. Mm-hmm. Helena also, like, puts together that the High Necromancer is dying. He's been farming the holdfasts for parts, basically. That's why Lila is pregnant, and that's why Luke wouldn't let her go outside of the country to protect her. Indeed, I think they reveal in this moment that, like, when Luke sleeps with Lila for the first time, he was actually like possessed. And so like Helena keeps this to herself. She never tells anyone till the day that she dies, but it's just like,
yeah, you don't need to tell Lila that.
Yeah. With the jig being up, Luke's body attacks, killing his paladin and coming for Helena. The pair grapple, but Helena manages to use her resonance to paralyze him, and then sinks into Luke's mind and manages to isolate the High Necromancer.
It's just like that. She's just able to just overpower the High Necromancer.
Well, this is only a portion of his soul.
Right?
Remember,
He's
he's in two places at once. Yeah.
I guess so. But even like, that's him at what, 50% strength?
I mean, it's like, how can fucking Harry Potter defeat like Voldemort all those times, right? Like, he's not like particularly good. He knows one spell.
Well, I guess what I'm building toward is like, if she can overpower 50% of the High Necromancer,
it's not even 50.
Okay, well, I would think that Kane is probably 10 times more powerful than her, right?
Yeah.
I guess that kind of drives home the point you made earlier that if she can contend with a piece of that High Necromancer, Kane's got a chance. But Kane doesn't believe he has a chance. I don't think he's a coward. I think part of it is because he's just like a beat dog. Like he's scared of him because he's been tortured by the High Necromancer so many times.
Yeah, I mean, since he was 16, and at this point they're like in their mid-20s.
Yeah, he was a child, you know?
Yeah. So she stabs, she manages to isolate the High Necromancer, and then she stabs Luke with obsidian, banishing the High Necromancer from Luke's body. But Luke's essence is slipping away, and he's going to die, and there's nothing Helena can do about it. He asks her to get Lila and their baby out. He's going to do what he can to draw suspicion away from Helena, but he has to get them out of there. Luke makes up a story about why he and Helena need to leave, but as soon as he makes it into the alley, he dies. Helena tries to make her way through the fighting to headquarters, but she's cornered by Necrothralls. Kane manages to catch her and knock her out, bringing her to safety. When she comes to, Kane tells Helena that the resistance has lost. The city has fallen. Helena recounts everything that just happened, that this whole war is just the High Necromancer trying to get back at his brother. Kane is incensed that this whole thing is just some familial squabble. He tells Helena that her time in the war is done. The war is over, and he is sending her outside of Palladia. But she will not go without Lila. Kane tells her that the High Necromancer knew this attack was coming. Even after the bomb went off, he knew that headquarters would be vulnerable and that they should attack. They had somebody on the inside. Helena begs him to go get Lila so that they can all escape. She promised Luke that she would get Lila out, and Kane makes her promise that if he goes and gets Lila, she'll do everything that he tells her to do. A few hours later, he returns with Lila in hand, but tells Helena that he had to blow his cover in order to do it. He couldn't get into the lab where she was being kept without leaving his name behind on the logs. Helena panics. He's pretty much just sentenced himself to death. He can't leave with her because he can't stray too far from the High Necromancer. But he can't stay because the High Necromancer will kill him. Helena begs him to find her lab assistant so that she can relay some information to him before she leaves. Kane can only get her and Lila out one at a time anyway, so he agrees. Reluctantly, he brings her lab assistant to her and takes off with Lila, ordering Helena to stay in place. But Helena has no interest in sitting by and letting Kane sacrifice himself. Her and her lab assistant create hundreds of tiny grenades to blow up the West End lab, and
I do love the idea of Shiseo as just a lab assistant. Just some random one, like you just go down, hey man, what's your name again? Like, hey man, you guys want to blow up a laboratory? You guys want to kill Dr. Mangala today? Like, what? How's your afternoon look? Like,
yeah.
Can you move that lunch meeting? Like, we got some terrorism to do.
Yeah. So she takes all the bombs and she steals people's necrothralls along the way to get it done.
Like taking the intern on a drive-by shooting. It's like, all right, hey man, today's been really crazy. It's about to get crazier. We're gonna blow this lab up and kill everybody inside. We're gonna put bombs in the ducts and we're gonna roll them in. And you're gonna help me. This experimental weapons on our enemies. Just as an act of vengeance. Like the war is over, but like fuck this guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's to protect Kane, right? Like, because if she can destroy the lab, she can destroy the logs, and then he can survive.
Yeah, but also I totally sympathize with that decision. Like that.
Oh yeah,
that's
fuck
like
that
one of the easiest decisions. It's like blowing up. Like it's like you nuked Unit 731. It's like, well, yeah, you killed some people by accident, but like all the people there were probably happy that they didn't get tortured anymore. Yeah.
So once the lab explodes, Helena does her best to get away, but the High Necromancer's forces close in on her, capturing her and bringing her to prison inside of the Alchemy Tower. The High Necromancer enters the prison for the remnants of the rebellion to see. He animates Luke's body to look so lifelike that they believe he's alive. And then in an elaborate ceremony, he makes it look like Luke kneels and begs for eternal life, and that he rejects and kills him. As they decide what to do with Helena, at first she hears they're going to interrogate her. She panics. There's so much important information in her mind that she can't give up. She begins to use her animancy to lock it all away, to lock away anything except for her hospital shifts in the past 2 years. But instead of being led to interrogation, one of the Undying, who has a bone to pick with her, puts her inside of a stasis tank, still awake. And that's where we pick up with her in season 1. Season 3. Part 1. So now the book jumps back where we left Helena and Kane before she remembered everything that was happening. She wakes up with all of her memories, and at first she's like excited to see Kane because like she has that like we're in love feeling, but then she remembers that he's the High Reeve and that he's like done all this other bad stuff, and she feels this extreme mental dissonance as she tries to put together past Kane and current Kane. She can't reconcile what he's done to her now to what she remembered of him then. She remembers, though, that he knew how the obsidian worked and that someone had been using it to kill off the ruling class, and she confirms that it was him. But this makes her really sad because there's no more eternal flame out there. She's the last one. But then she asks, what happened to Lila? Now, before, they had been, like, word on the street was that Lila had been captured and killed, and then her body had been turned into a thrall. But Kane explains that she is alive, she's safe, and that he used a vivimancy to create a fake body for her. So everyone thinks Lila's been dead this whole time, and Lila's been alive, she had her baby, and they're safe somewhere, and they're just like waiting for Helena. Kane also explains that he's been wreaking so much havoc trying to find Helena this entire time. I think it was like 14 months that she had been in the stasis, and he did all of this stuff, and he had to play pretend because like he had to play pretend with her once he got his hands on her this whole time because the High Necromancer had ways of seeing what happened in his home, and that only Kane's bedroom was safe. So that's why he's been like not trying to tell her like, hey, I need you to remember what's going on. You know, he's been playing coy with her. I still don't think that makes anything that he's done forgivable. Like, he's so clever. He's so smart. He couldn't think of any way to keep from committing these atrocities against Helena.
I agree. I think that he... Do you think he's actually morally gray?
No, I think he's morally black. I think he's morally black and
wow,
like
okay.
Hey, yo. I think the only thing that like is redeeming about him is that he does the good things Helena wants him to do. He's not good for his own sake. He's good because Helena wants him to be good.
Well, he does hate the bad guys
because they killed his mom, not for any like altruistic reason.
Okay, but like that's good enough. That's good enough for me. Like that's not good enough to make him a morally good character, but like that's a relatable. I think maybe not morally gray. Maybe I think he is a human character. He's deeply human.
He is,
even though he's. I'm like I struggle to be like when you factor it all in, like he's morally gray because like I guess I kind of can land there because like he does care about her.
That's kind of it though.
He does care, but he is good to her. He does save her. He protects her.
He's not good to her. He's mean to her.
We're gonna delete that.
He's obsessed with her. You know, it's like that's it. It's like if it weren't for this obsession of this possession, and he says it all the time: "You're mine, you're mine, you're mine." If it weren't for the obsession and possession, he wouldn't be good.
Now, I guess when I say he was good to her, I don't mean throughout the story.
No.
I mean in
like
the epilogue. In the epilogue, he seems
yes.
to be good to her because obviously, like throughout the story, he's not good to her.
Yeah.
In the epilogue, he's good. Like he has a lot of redeeming attributes, and once he gets away from the war, it does sound like a lot of the evil shit he doesn't do anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes and gets revenge on who's that? Stroud.
Yeah,
Dr.
Stroud.
Fuck Stroud. She was asking for it. Like,
yeah. But I just feel like, and we'll talk about it more when we get there, is that he's always like waiting for a reason to be bad, you know? So Cain also reveals that the political situation in Palladia at the moment is not good. The other countries in the continent are planning on ways to take the High Necromancer down, and the High Necromancer is practically dead as it is. Helena pieces together that the only thing holding Palladia together is that Cain is the heir apparent. She realizes that Cain's long-term plan is to kill himself so that Palladia falls apart. Both of them always with the killing themselves. Like, geez Louise, you do.
Yeah, at some point, it does. I will say, I understand, like, that's a sensitive, important topic. It gets to be a little much.
Yeah, I mean, I get it because he doesn't think there's, like, any way for him to get away because, like, he's tied to Moro's, like, arm bone. And, like, he's not going to, if he steals it from Moro, it'll disintegrate and he'll die. Like, if Moro continues to have it, he has power over him. So
it is a little irritating that they never, like, try to think of alternatives out the gate. It's like, oh, I'm gonna just throw myself on the pyre. It's like, okay, all right, we get the 3 asterisks.
It's the self-sacrificing.
I know, and like by this point, by like 900 pages into the book, you're like, all right, let's
enough already. So Helena begs for him to find another way, but he holds her to the promise that she made long ago. If he saved Lila, then she has to do whatever he says to get out. So she makes him a compromise, though, and makes him promise that she can try to research a way to save him in time before she has to escape. Helena spends about a month researching and making some progress. She finally realizes that to save Cain, she needs the portion of the High Necromancer's bone that he is bound to and a willing soul to bind his soul together. Because, like, what happened with Luke is, like, his soul just kind of dissipated. Nothing bound it together once the High Necromancer left. So she's trying to remedy that this time around. So she's not really sure who would sacrifice their soul to save Cain at this point because only she likes him. Or how to literally steal a bone from the High Necromancer. Like, these are big problems. But at an Undying party, Helena notices someone that she knew as part of the rebellion. This person had betrayed the rebellion after one of the members let her sister die. The High Necromancer promised her that he could bring the sister back, but this ended up being a lie, and she's bitter about it. And she's regretful about what she's done, so she offers to try to save Helena. Helena asks her to try to get the bone portion so that Helena can save Cain and then disappear. Meanwhile, Cain's father, who is a somehow nastier asshole than his son, has been torturing people at their country manor. He's been trying to figure out who's killing off the Undying.
Dude, pick up golf.
For real. Like, you don't have anything better to do.
Golf, badminton.
But
you got a country estate. Ride a horse.
He explains that he's doing it because the High Necromancer said that he would kill Cain if the father, Atreus, didn't figure out who is the assassin. So he's doing it kind of out of love. So Helena reveals, like, he attacks Helena at some point, and to kind of try to talk him down, she tells Cain's father, like, the hard truth that he doesn't know. She reveals that the spy that he's been looking for has been Cain all along, and the only person who can save Cain is Cain's father. Cain's father ultimately offers up his own soul to save Cain because that's what his beloved wife would have wanted. Miraculously, as they're having this conversation, the girl tasked with helping them pulls in a car, just, like, hanging on to the High Necromancer's entire rotten arm. She's managed to steal not only Cain's bone fragment, but Cain's father's bone fragment. And there's nothing like rolling up to the party with, like, a rotten arm in one hand.
You fuck a six-pack, dude. I'm pulling up with limbs.
Like, the visual for this was so funny to me. Like, I like to think that she pulls up in a Mini Cooper. Like, yeah.
Like a Volkswagen Beetle.
Just with, like, waving the rotten arm. Like, hello.
Yeah, like, the timing of that is, like, it's so perfect that, again, it's like,
sure,
you got to do it for the plot sometimes. Because it's also like, all right, man, we're at 900 pages. Let's or 950. Let's keep it rolling. Like we are we gonna have a happy ending or not? Like, if we're gonna do it, then give us the shit, you know?
Yeah. So Helena uses all the pieces that she's gathered to restore Cain's soul. He's no longer one of the Undying. The two escape and make their way home to Helena's island, meeting up with Lila and her son, so that they can, like, coop up for a while. So as they're on this island, every once in a while they get news of what's going on in Palladia. And Lila, once her child is, like, 5 or 6 hears that basically like the other countries surrounding Palladia are finally going to move in and move against Moro. And she can't let them do it by themselves. She can't let them erase what the rebellion has done this whole time and say like, oh, we're the only reason that this survives. So she goes back to Palladia and she leads the forces into the alchemical tower, and they collapse the entire tower on top of Moro. Lila goes into the rubble and drags Moro's body out and kills him herself.
Did they say again how she kills him?
Well, basically, like, they drop an entire building on him, and then I think in a weak moment, she, like,
just stabs
him.
I feel like Kane Farron could have done that at the beginning of the
Yeah. Like, all it took was dropping. I mean, this is, like,
he's lost
5 years later. Like,
yeah, he's lost so many.
He's been deteriorating all this time. Like, she
just pushes him over the edge. He's already...
Yeah, he's pretty much goop at this point.
Yeah, I mean, because even at, like, the beginning of the first part, like, he's almost dead.
Yeah, like, tied to that chair. And he's still tied to that chair, like, all those years later. So, Lila then goes on to refound the Alchemical Institute, and in time, Kane and Helena's daughter comes to study there. And, like, one of the things, this is kind of the last thing I want to talk about, is, like, there are books that are written about, in the story, about everything that happened during the Palladian Civil War. And in all the books, they mention Kane and all the terrible things he did, but none of the books ever really mention Helena. She never gets the credit that she deserves for pretty much keeping the rebellion alive all those years. I mean, Lila wouldn't have been alive without her. She literally put Lila together so many times. Like, Luke would have died without her earlier on. Like, everyone who was in the final battle were probably people that wouldn't be alive if it weren't for Helena. And she, like, all she gets is, like, a caption in a photo.
Right. Now, her kid and Lila's kid do set out to correct that at the end of the book, but that's, like, the last
Well, they
sentence.
mentioned maybe doing it, yeah.
Well, they're, like, at the library, and I mean, it's...
Yeah, they read the book and they realize that, yeah.
But I do think that that's, the rejection of the glory of war, is that you just... People who sacrifice everything and work their lives out either get completely misinterpreted or buried.
Yeah.
And that's just what happens.
Yeah, like, the real heroes are, like... What really, like, made the rebellion last so long was Kane and Helena's espionage work and Helena's healing work, and, like, everyone's just going to attribute it to, like, the Principate and, like, the God's soul and, like, the Holdfast's divine, like, right of rule, and it's just, like...
There's some kind of poignant geopolitical criticism at the end, where they talk about how when the rest of the world finally gets involved in the war, it's so much longer after the rebellion, and it's only because they think the necromancer's on his way out and they want to, like, take pieces of it.
Yeah.
But they say it's all because, like, there was a picture of, like, a Kane or somebody else, like, killing a bunch of prisoners.
Yeah,
they say it's motivated by a massacre or an atrocity, but really it's just a way to get in there and help divvy the country up. And I think Helena remarks, she's like, if they actually cared and if they had actually done this years ago, everything would be so much better.
Yeah,
this wouldn't have happened.
Like, they only wanted to move in when, like, the Holdfasts were gone and they could, like, claim the mines and the alchemical resources. Like, they didn't want to help the Holdfasts when it could have actually turned the tides.
Right, or, like, to reduce the actual humanitarian suffering. Even if they didn't want to take a side, it was they let everyone wear themselves out, let all these civilians go through all this horrible stuff, and then they came in when it was convenient and easy for them, not for when it was the reason that they said it, which was humanitarian stuff. Which, I mean, you see that all the time in the world. You see, like, atrocities happen all over the place, and, like, why aren't we doing anything? And it's like, the answer's never one that makes you feel good about paying your taxes.
Yeah, and I mean, we also get some, like, Project Paperclip moments. Like, one of the countries, like, took in Dr. Stroud, who was like the eugenicist, and, like, tried to use her until Kane, like, killed her.
Oh, didn't he drown her?
Yeah.
Dr. Mengele.
Yeah.
Isn't that how Mengele died? That he drowned in, like, a pond or something?
Like, unclear.
Well, it's either, like...
That is, like, the story that is told, but it's not, like, confirmed.
Oh, okay. I see. That struck me as, like, a direct, like, Nazi hunter sort of deal. Oh, you aren't getting away.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the book.
That's the end of the book.
Plot.
I'm, like, kind of bummed. This book is, like, it's heavy. It's dark.
Yeah, it's a good book.
It's an excellent book.
It's a good book. There's a lot there. It's it's about like magic and stuff, but it really is like a metaphor for like grief and war and like this, and it's also a metaphor for like lies and the stories we tell ourselves in some ways that, the whole like the eternal flame was all about, the whole thing was based on a lie, but like the whole stories we tell ourselves about war itself are lies, because most of it is just horrendous pain and suffering and starvation and torture, and most of it's not, running up the hill with your rifle and planting the flag. It's about, it's about lies, it's about trauma, it's about all kinds of, and like also like it's weird at the end because like I don't think I can forgive Cain, but I'm okay with him having a happy ending. Because I think that it's almost like he's been through so much, and we like downplayed. We didn't really talk a lot about all this stuff, the torture and stuff he suffered, but and they don't really go into it that much detail, but it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
And it's almost like what would one more body do?
Yeah.
Now I don't feel that way about Stroud.
No, fucker.
But it's almost like,
sorry, you did eugenics, like.
Yeah, and I mean, like Farron did some really awful shit for sure too. It's just almost like he's been through so much, like he's paid such a deep
like that's
price.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like
It's like almost like there's been enough suffering.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like at the end of World War II. It's like, yes, you have to hang some of the Nazis, but it's like, do you go through the streets of Germany and kill every single person who sold like wheat or bread to the Nazis? Like at some point, like at some point you just have to say like, it's not going to be perfect. We have to stop. Like we got to get the big guys.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be held accountable, but you can't just like, we've been killing each other for so long. We just got to let it go. Like, yeah. And again, it means that some people aren't going to get what they deserve, and Cain Farron ultimately doesn't. But I'm happy that Helena doesn't have to be alone.
Yeah.
Because without him, she would be alone, and she certainly doesn't deserve any more pain.
No. And she seems to end up with like, not the life she wants, but like
as
a
good
life.
As it can get.
She's with the person she's in love with. She has a beautiful daughter that she like gets to pour all her stuff in. She gets to be like the hometown healer.
Yeah, she gets it's about as good as you're gonna get. Yeah. Being through what she's been through.
Yeah, and she doesn't really like want the credit. Like her daughter says at the end, like, my mom doesn't want this story to be told. I have a feeling though, like, if we were to be able to like get our magic ball and like look at the future, that like, after Helena and Cain pass, like the daughter telling Helena's story, but
I would think Helena wants to be vindicated, but isn't willing to go back and relive all the trauma and put all the work in and relive all that time and sit down with like a historian or a scribe or whatever their system is and go through every bits and piece of information and be like, talk to this person. And like a lot of them are dead.
Almost all. I mean, right. The entire resistance is dead.
So it's who's like going to corroborate her story?
Yeah, Lila, I guess.
Also, then you have to expose yourself and you have to say that you're still alive. And
does it taint her legacy to be in love with Cain Farron?
Yeah, because his reputation's beyond fixing. Yeah. Because all the stuff that people are mad about, he did.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really seem like his reputation was dragged through the mud. It's not complete because he did help the resistance, but it's accurate. He did bad stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry for not making y'all laugh this.
we tried to give you a couple laughs. I can eat another pretzel into the mic.
No, I don't make them more miserable than they need to be.
You guys have been through enough.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to sign off and just end the suffering. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we'll read a much lighter book next time.
Yeah, I think so. But just, let's do a really spicy, sexy one, because this was not spicy.
Neon Gods 3 comes next.
Have you read 3?
I've read them all.
How many are there?
There are 8 or 9.
Okay, so we have a lot more.
Yeah,
we should mix those in when we need something. We were gonna do something to mix in a fact. I was like gonna maybe eat a pretzel every time we needed to mix a fact in, but that's nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. Nobody needs to hear that. But okay, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. We will see you soon.
Bye.